Zaber. We're here at Alley 26, and this is our ongoing Cocktails and Conversation, our Industry Insider Series, where we get some of the people from behind the brands that you know and love, and hopefully get you some insight into how and why they make those products. We've had a few distillers on so far, and we've had some national brand ambassadors on so far, but today we're really going a little bit a different way. And Luc is the one who's really excited about bringing our next guest on. You want to say something?
Yeah, so we were really excited to have Brett Berish, who's the owner of Sovereign Brands, join us today. He's definitely going to bring a whole different mindset and a bunch of information for us about how to create his company. How does he run it? How does he choose his products? And kind of a lot of things that we haven't hit on before. That'll just be really cool. We're going to make some drinks while we do it.
Outstanding. So I guess first things first, welcome, Brett Berish. How are you?
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. Excited to make some cocktails with you. Talk my favorite subject, which is drinking and alcohol. Those two things go. I can do very well.
You do them professionally.
I do them professionally. Yes. This is my job.
That's what I tell my wife all the time. It's my job, honey. I'm just research here. Research.
Exactly.
I've been able to keep it to just one kid so far. We'll say that. Well, I guess, before we get too involved in things, we probably want to start with a cocktail, and that way we have, something in hand.
Yep.
To go ahead. And the first one we're going to start is we're using the McQueen and the Violet Fog.
Okay.
This gin, I'm going to let Luc talk through the actual procedure. I believe you have all of the stuff where you're at, right?
I'm going to follow along. I got the recipe right in front of me, and I got the gin. I got my gin right here.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
All right, well, we are going to start with 3/4 of an ounce of our tropical tonic.
By the way, I love your tonics. My son is in love with tonic, and you guys have nailed it with all of these.
Well, we are glad you enjoy it.
How many do you have?
We have 3 right now. So we do have our traditional tonic. We have a South Indian tonic, and then we have our tropical tonic.
Those are the tonics, but we also have like 27 others, like classic cocktail syrups or new flavors of syrup that we're doing, and shrubs and stuff. But yeah, just 3 tonics.
So we're starting with the tropical. How much?
So 3/4 of an ounce. After that, we're just going to take a 1/2 ounce of lime.
I got mine.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
1.5 ounces of gin.
Which gin is that?
This is the McQueen and the Violet Fog.
Outstanding.
Less than one of that.
So since I have you on the line here, Brett, where does one get a name like McQueen and the Violet Fog for their gin?
So we're kind of we do everything by our gut and its instincts, and the brand name came to us in the concept of old school rock and roll, like Florence and the Machine, like an old school rock and roll band. And that was one connotation. The second connotation was Steve McQueen. And for those of you who are not as old as me, I'm a huge fan of Steve McQueen. He's just a kick-ass guy, cool as hell. And then a poem. There's an amazing poem. I think we're the only brand in the world who we've written. There's a poem on the back of the bottle. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. There's an actual poem, and there's 4 different stances, and there's 2 on the back of the bottle, and it's about this rock and roll band named McQueen and the Violet Fog. It's a mouthful of a name, but we had just assumed as well people would shorten it and call it McQueen, which they have. But it's different, and everything we do, we try to just be our own thing, what feels good and what feels right. And that's what That's where the name came from. As I
All right.
shake.
Cool.
Well, we've got our glasses ready. We've got, we're just gonna give this a quick little shake.
How much soda water?
We usually go about an ounce and a half, depending on how large your glass is.
So unfortunately, where I'm sitting may look like a bar. It's my desk. So this is what you get.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, improvise and overcome, right? So
I love the
this
color.
particular gin is really soft, really easy going. It's definitely a modern style. It's not really juniper forward like a classic London Dry. Can you talk about why you decided to go with a gin kind of like that?
So the way we try to, everything we do, and I'll use gin as an example. We don't look at it from a business perspective. We look at it from what are we drinking? And I drink a lot, and I drink with my brothers and friends, and we started drinking gin. And we started then assessing the gin category and why people make gins the way they do. And for those people who don't know, but 99% of all gins are made in the UK. And we didn't want to do that. We didn't. Sometimes it's good to think outside the box because it starts bringing more ideas to the table. And we don't focus the way, and it goes with all our brands. We kind of let the brand decide where we should go, or let the taste decide where we should go.
Somebody daddy didn't work and bring no money home. And,
We ended up in South America, and we ended up there because there are amazing botanicals in South America. We ended up in a little town outside of Sao Paulo called Jundiaí, in this tiny little distillery, who together with us and
my daddy worked 2
and the
jobs and they
distiller
both next to my mama.
ended up-
Minus when he was, you know.
Hold on one second. We're getting some muting going here.
that's okay.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. If you could please put your screen on mute, that'd be real helpful.
So we ended up, as I said, in Jundiaí, and we ended up with a product that has probably more botanicals than any other gin. There's 21 different botanicals. And we broke it up as follows. There's 6 signature botanicals and 15 what we call core botanicals. Everything from, and those 6, for example, signature basil leaves, rosemary, fennel seed, calamansi, star anise, and the one that most people know that Brazil is well known for is Asahi. But it's different. We wanted, Shannon, you said this, it's not a juniper heavy, there's something called a gin wheel. And in a gin wheel, you almost call it seasons. And we didn't want it to be kind of forward one season. We want to hit all the seasons. So like a lot of our brands, actually, we want to hit a little bit of everything. We want it to be well-rounded. So 1, if you're drinking it straight, it tastes great. Or 2, if you're making a cocktail like a tropical gin and tonic here, it works well with it. And that's what we created. So we're unbelievably happy with this product. It's unique and different, and there's nothing else like it. So cheers first, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, very nice. Very fresh. Very nice.
Claire, when you get a chance, will you put the recipe for that in the chat? So for those who tuned in just a couple minutes late and didn't see Luc walk through the proportions of those cocktails, we're going to get the first cocktails proportions in the chat for you. So Brett, hey, sorry.
Another note, I was just going to mention another note about since we're on the gin is distillation matters. And sometimes there's distillation, which is called maceration. Sometimes there's distillation, which is called vapor infusion. We actually ended up doing both. We do both methods to create the gin in 500-liter pot stills, which is tiny, which is really tiny. But again, everything, as I said earlier, everything we try to do is about the product first, and product first being even before making a cocktail. Again, our goal is to make a product that you can drink naked. That's always the goal. That's always the goal. Because if we can do that, it'll mix well.
And if you phrase it like that, you're right for people enjoying themselves and having lots of kids.
That's right. That's right. It's been a benefit to me.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, it is really exciting to have you on this. And just so not everybody knows your backstory, and it's if you could maybe take a minute or two to just fill us in and how we got from how you got interested in branding alcohol.
Yep.
And how you got maybe to your first big success, which as far as I know is Ace of Spades.
Yeah. So I grew up in the industry. My grandparents were distributors in Madison, Wisconsin on my mother's side. My father worked at the same liquor company for 45 years. This is all that was talked about at the dinner table. This is all we knew. I like to tell stories when we were 6 years old, we'd walk to school with alcohol in our hands with bottles to take to our teachers. And that's what my 6-year-old does now.
Instead of the apple, you brought booze.
Exactly. But you know, we've always had a love for this industry. You know, as a kid growing up, there was two things I want my father to do for a living. One was to own a car dealership, because I assumed I'd get any car I want. And the other would be in the liquor industry, just because I thought it was cool. Your friends think it's cool. And my father didn't want us to do it because like any parent, they think there's something better for you out there. And fortunately, we started something 21 years ago. We launched, actually, as crazy as it sounds, our first brand on 9/11. We were all on planes down to Florida. And it's the worst possible time in the world for everything, let alone launching a new company. And it was a struggle beyond struggle for the first 6 or 7 years. But ultimately it paid off. We stuck to what we're doing, and now we're hopefully on our 5th or 6th great brand. But it's been a wild ride, but I'll let you ask some questions and I can fill in some blanks.
Got it. Well, I like that part of your story, and I think this comes up a lot when you're doing your self-made series, which I'll ask you about a little more. In that, I think I heard you say on one thing that when you look at people that are successful, it looks easy.
Yep.
But it's never easy.
Yep.
And you just described your 21-year overnight success.
Yeah, it's not. It's, you know, I do. As you said, I do this series called Self-Made, and I get to interview very successful people in sports or business or music. And I want to hear the shitty side of it. I want to hear the difficult side, because everyone looks at it and says, gosh, you know, look how successful that person is, but there's another side to it. You know, my first 6 or 7 years, we made I don't want to say it was mistakes, but to me, the mistakes is where you learn. And this is where, you know, little things like just trusting our instincts and trusting our gut. I think every brand we'll talk about today, people still today tell us, you know, when we launched it, you shouldn't have done it. You know, it's the wrong category. It's the wrong time. Why would you do a gin from Brazil? Like, why have a name like that? You know, and you start to question yourself. And I think those first 6 years or so, we just listened to everybody and changed everything. And then fortunately we said, screw it, enough. I got to trust my instincts and just go with it. And that's the hard part, is really believing in yourself. And I think that's gotten us to where we are today. But it's that side. It's, you know, I've seen everything. I tell stories. I lost my house, my apartment in New York, because I stopped paying my mortgage. Because if I paid my mortgage, I would have less money for the business. I stopped paying my salary and I stopped paying taxes, and the IRS found me. But those are the things. If you believe in what you're doing, you'll overcome. And we're fortunate we did. But I tell you, it all comes back to, we're in an industry. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. We're in an industry that's just amazing, that gives back, that it's about connecting with people. Drinking is a social aspect. There's nothing I would rather be doing than this, or having a conversation like this. There's nothing better.
A quick question. You were talking about struggles early on. One of your early products I heard you talk about was 3 Vodka. Could you tell us a little bit about that and maybe the lessons learned from that?
3 was an amazing brand. I have it tattooed on me, actually. It was a vodka. It was distilled from soy. Maxim magazine actually said it was the healthiest way to get shit-faced. We had an unbelievable rating. It was different. You know, why? Again, it goes back to my attitude of, why does everything have to be, the only reason you use, potato in Idaho if you're going to be distilling, or grains in Illinois like corn, is it's whatever's cheapest. And that's what vodka is made from. Whatever's the cheapest commodity in Poland, but it's potato. So for us, it was, well, let's do it different. You're going to get different aspects out of it. Great brand, great taste, really unique package. And the mistake was in that, not mistake, but bigger picture was, we listened to everybody but ourselves on how to build a brand. We did it backwards. We assumed it would happen quickly. It never happens quickly. We just, it's almost, I'd rather tell you how we do it now versus how we did it then. Now when we do brands, when we launch them, we're going to the places that people are supporting us. We're going to the places where we've got relationships. If someone says to me, I'll build your brand, that's the first thing I'll say is, I don't want you to build my brand. I have to build my brand for you. I've got to get the consumers asking for this product. Those little things add up to be a lot, and it's worked that way. But I for anybody who's listening, and for you guys, every single one of our brands, and maybe the next one, I would say, maybe the next one they'll just believe us, meaning the trade, and they'll just say, yes, this is great. But every single one, people have said, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this. We got the hottest in North Carolina. We have the #1 premium rum in the whole state, which is Bumbu, which we'll get to. That brand 5 years ago, everyone told us don't do. Premium rum, high-end rum in general is not growing. Don't do it. 5 years later, we're the leader in the category. Now everyone wants to follow us. But those are the things where I'm just used to people. That's why if anybody asks, just don't listen. Just go with your gut and move forward. You'll get there. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No. Listening to you is the whole purpose of this hour. I couldn't agree more. We used to have people, when we first opened this bar in downtown Durham, a lot of people said, what are you doing? That's the wrong place for that. People don't want that there. This doesn't look like the Durham that they thought. They kept saying all the reasons why they wouldn't do it. But my thought was, well, you didn't do it. So clearly you wouldn't do it. But my favorite one is when people come in, they sit down, they spend about 30 seconds and they go, you know what you should do?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's well, one of us has been thinking about this constantly and obsessed with it and thinking about every detail. And the other one has given it 35 seconds of thought. You know what you should do? So I think I couldn't agree more with what you said, because I think it kind of goes to every industry. Spirits certainly, bars certainly, but certain people do, and certain people have advice, that aren't really doing.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got an opinion.
And that's okay. And I'm a big believer. And I'll tell, we have a great team, and we listen, whether it's our distributor RNDC or whether our salespeople, and I tell our salespeople all the time, we get our best ideas from listening. The key is listen and pick what you think actually is a good idea, or trying something or doing something different every day. So, a silly example on this self-made, but Emily, who's our state manager in North Carolina, is like, would you be open to doing an interview with Muggsy Bogues? God, yes. I love this. Yeah. This is great. I love Muggsy. And lo and behold, because of that interview, we've done so many sports and professional athlete interviews because, and that's how it started. Well, why do we, we're doing a lot of music. Now, all of a sudden we're doing sports, but it's just, again, it gets back to listen, but pick what you like and leave behind the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that kind of leads us to a question, which is really cool. You have a lot. You do this self-made thing where you were talking about earlier. You interviewed a lot of people. Also, there are artists. Their names might even appear on the bottle that are associated with almost all your brands. But I've heard you say that it's not a celebrity brand. So for folks that may not know how to square that circle completely, would you explain like what you mean by that?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in organic brand building, and that means basically you can't. It's everything should come natural. It's my example earlier of I can't force my brand on your account. I don't want to force it in there. If I have to force it in there, it doesn't work. If I have to convince you, it doesn't work. I want you to like it. And if you like it, great. Let's see if we can do something. Let's see if we can, we can make this a success for both of us. So we take that same philosophy in everything we do. I think, everybody we work with, and again, it's this idea of support, but everybody we work with, whether it's, famous people like a Wiz Khalifa or Rick Ross or Lil Wayne, though I didn't meet them because of, it's a check and I want them, or it's because they found the brands, they love these brands, they want to be involved. They're in this industry just as much as you or I are. And it's real. This is real. I can get Rick Ross on here right now because he loves talking. He loves talking about this shit. He goes to clubs all the time. He's everywhere. But it could be Martha Stewart was one of our biggest consumers. She's a huge brand ambassador. She's a consumer of us. To me, it doesn't matter who it is, but if they like what we're doing, I want to be able to support them and try to work together. It could be a DJ, it could be a promoter, it could be a bartender, it could be a mixologist, it could be a restaurant. It's just like you guys asking, do you want to be involved in our series? Yeah, this is great. If I can help bring my audience and share our brands with your recipes and your consumers, it's a benefit to both of us. So that to me is the organic brand building side. There's no forced, it's not a made marriage, it's evolved organically. Let's see what comes out of this. Nice.
Really, I've heard you speak before on this same subject of like it having to be honest. The relationship has to be honest. Their enthusiasm for the product underneath has to be honest. But I've also was listening to somewhere where you were talking about how it's important to say thank you at least. Like, we should be reaching out.
Yep.
And especially in with the hip hop folks, you were looking for people that were interested in your product. You liked what they had to bring. It could be a win-win. And at the very least, if these people are repping the products before you're even paying them,
correct.
Like the Remy boys or like certain people are like,
Yep.
Pastor Cavassier. I don't know if he got paid for that. But the least the company can do is say thank you.
Correct. I'm a huge, I think that's where corporate America it can be essence in some way of giving back. But, yesterday is a great example. My nanny's daughter texted me my nanny's daughter texted me a little video of these two artists in Ohio that have got Belair in their video and they're drinking it. They each have, 25,000 followers on Instagram. Right away, I sent that to my team saying, reach out to these guys. This is awesome. How can we help them? What can we do? There's an artist, I think he's in North Carolina called Maury. I think he's based in North Carolina. Moray. He's got a song called Quicksand. Awesome song. He came out of nowhere. He literally is cradling a Belair Lux bottle in the video and he hands it over to somebody. But great song. And our team reaches out to him. This guy's supporting us. What can we do? How can we help? Can we fund something for them? But to me, it's the fact, I feel good about this. My team does. It's the fact that we're not riding on the coattails. We're reaching out, going back to them saying, gosh, this is great. How can I help you now? How can I help you? And because you just did me a solid. Does that make, you follow?
Makes a lot of sense. I'm wondering, maybe you could speak to this. Like, it's important to learn from one's mistakes,
Yep.
but a really smart person learns from other people's mistakes. And it seems like there was a certain champagne brand that really didn't know how to do this well at all. They seem to be getting a lot of love from musicians. And then when the CEO, I guess it was, asked about it, if they were worried about the implications to their reputation, the guy said, well, yeah, we were concerned about that. Instead of saying, no, thank you, this is fantastic for us. It's nothing but they've been championing our brand. He went completely the wrong way. I know you know what I'm talking about, but did watching how that went, how horribly they handled that gift of promotion that they were given, did that inform your thoughts at all?
I think like everything in life, I think you're just, it's about who you are. So it's meaning you're either going to think, you either think that way or you don't think that way. For me, it's, I literally think I've got today 4 or 5 brands. And people have heard me describe them this way. I think they're literally like children to me. And I don't know what they're going to be when they grow up. And my job is, and my team's job is to cradle them and make sure they're off on the right footing, make sure they look right, make sure they're used right. They're going to find their audience eventually. And you just go, we've got this brand, and we're going to taste in a second, is Bumbu. This is the number 1 premium rum now in the United States. It's number 1 in Canada, the UK, Latvia, Estonia, Jamaica, Belgium, Austria, number 1 premium rum. In Canada, it's our biggest market outside the US. No one from my company has ever been there. We've never gone there. It's the biggest market in the world for us, enormous. But they're embracing the brand. That's great. Let them embrace it. So it doesn't, to me, that's the fun part of this, is just who cares who's consuming it? It's the brand they love, and get behind them and support them in a way. But that's the fun part of brand building, is people hear about it, they talk about it. Why am I going to Alley 26? Someone told me about it. Let me try it. Let me try their tonics. Like, that's the word of mouth. That's the fun part of this, is someone heard something and let me try it.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's like, nothing is better than word of mouth, because it's one thing to advertise. It's another thing for their friend to say, have you checked this out yet?
It's still,
and
and I'm sure you guys get it. It's still the greatest feeling. If, I was in a grocery store. I live in Chicago, and I went shopping for my mother, looking at a grocery store, looking for sardines. And I'm pushing the cart around the aisles, and I'm wearing a Bumbu mask. I don't have it here, face mask. And a 60-plus-year-old white woman stops me abruptly, and she says, oh my God, you like Bumbu? I love Bumbu. And I was all like, I didn't know how to react. And she's like, I love Bumbu. She's like, you must like it. And I said, yeah, I do. And she says, I don't really like the XO, but the original is my favorite. And then I didn't know what to do. I was all shocked, and I walked away, and she walked away. And it's the greatest single feeling in the world. The single best feeling. It never gets old. And I'm sure it's the same way if someone here, someone heard about your restaurant and they don't know you're the owner, they don't know you're involved, and they just like it. There's nothing else better than that. It never gets old.
No, you're right. I couldn't agree more. That never gets old. And that's a great story. It reminds me, especially because she had a very specific product she liked, right? She's like, I like the original, the XO is not for me.
Correct.
We tasted the XO and the original, and some of us preferred the XO, and Joe, our sous chef, was just agog about the original. Like, that was his jam. He's like, finally, you're bringing stuff in that I can drink.
Yep.
So
So
Sorry?
I know where you're going, and I think it's a great question to ask. Is that's the beauty of what we try to do is I've tasted other rums, and if you taste another brand and they have line extensions, I'm the average consumer. I think I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference between a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old and a 12-year-old. I can't. Maybe the 1% of consumers can. We wanted to have a distinct difference. To me, you're never going to get everybody liking everything. It's not how it works.
No.
There are some consumers who, to me, original is it's a mouthful. It's got a lot going on. It's got a lot of character. It's different. You're going to have people who love that. Then you're going to have people who they like this XO. It's big. It's like dark chocolate. To me, it reminds me of a big cigar, who love that. You may have someone like me. I mix both. I call it the XOG. Someone called it the XOG, their original XO, and they combine it. I love it. It's this perfect complement. But to me, that's the beauty of it. It's not, one is not meant for everybody. The other one's not meant for everybody. You find what you like, and you that's your brand. That's your brand.
Got it.
We have a question in the chat. We're gonna somebody's raised their hand. We're gonna let them ask you directly if that's okay.
Please.
Okay, who do we got here? Hey, there he is.
Fire away.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
me?
Yeah, that's you. Sorry, I can't read your name from here.
Well, first of all, I want to say I greet everybody on this platform. Ballet, Bumbu. I'm in South Africa.
Sweet.
I'm in South Africa. I live in South Africa. I'm a Nigerian staying in South Africa. I do events. And I've been trying to get into people's head about this lovely brand, Bumbu. I want to talk about Bumbu. I'm not really big with champagne, even though I've created a lot of events where Ballet South Africa will collaborate with me. But Bumbu is the real deal for me, especially the classic one. I tried the XO, and it's not really like favorite. Yeah, that one. It's just that I just run out because my friend loves it so much. Every time they come through, there's nothing left in the house, but I still have some couple of ballet. Yeah, and I watched a lot of your interviews, especially with the Nigerian artists, and I'm like, when is it gonna be my time? I need to talk to Mr. Brett.
Oh, sweet.
Because it's not just the drink, it's also very fashionable, and people need to start understanding that. I know that a lot of other brands have created some noise around their brand, but Ballet Bumbu is a big deal that people should actually reckon with and start taking seriously. It's everything.
Yeah, and shout out to South Africa. Shout out to you. What's your name?
My name is Adekunle. It was on Instagram. It's Royal Signatures.
Royal Signatures. All right. I was supposed to interview Nadia Nakai.
Nadia Nakai.
Yeah, I was supposed to interview her today, so I was super excited, but she had to cancel. So that one's coming up in South Africa for Self-Made. But okay. I'm one on Bumbu. It's an amazing product, and yes. What's neat is, and we're seeing it in Africa, is, as you can appreciate, Africa, there's some places it's not known as a rum market, right? It's not.
Yes.
And we're making a dent in this, and we're making a dent in the cognac category. I think as a brown spirit, I think there's nothing better than rum. And then Bumbu Original, I think, is the best. And it can do anything. But I'm a huge fan of Africa. I'm a huge proponent of music. I'm a huge proponent of trying to get artists in the US to do more collaborations in Africa, because I think it benefits everybody. An artist, I think you'll appreciate this, an artist coming from the US and going to Africa, they're not an artist, they're a celebrity. And there's a difference.
Yes.
There's a big difference. But I love South Africa, love what we're doing there, and love what we're doing in Nigeria and all the other countries. So thank you for asking, and keep supporting Bumbu.
Yes, and one more thing, please. You need to please tell them, the South African team, So let's try and substitute to take out NSC and replace with Bumbu in the clubs because
Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yes.
And hold on, this is coming. This is coming to South Africa. This is Vion. This
Okay.
is what's competing in the cognac category. So it's not there
Okay.
yet. We just launched it about a month ago. But yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
For now, a lot of people were talking about the Bumbu. They tested it through me because I did a little of influencing job for the Belair South Africa, but, mostly on the club level in the nightlife. But we should introduce it more on a private mansion parties, day vibe events where it becomes
I'll hook you up.
the real deal.
I'll hook you up with D. We've got two guys based in South Africa, one a regional manager for the country, for all of Africa, and the other one is our country manager, D. So if you put in the chat room your email and we'll hook you up, all right?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the love.
It's awesome.
Outstanding.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for tuning in from South Africa. That's fantastic. Your brands have got fans all over the world.
Yeah, it's neat. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's neat though, because Belair is in almost 100 countries, which is awesome. And how it's consumed, where it's consumed, how it's viewed is the same everywhere. Bumbu is in probably 70 countries today. McQueen is our youngest brand, is in about 30 plus countries. Premium brand, it's great. There's nothing better. Premium brands can exist everywhere.
Well, speaking of Bumbu, we're just pouring some here neat, just so, we get an idea of what we're talking about. We're drinking the XO here.
Okay. Ooh, I'll switch with you. Hold on. Isn't it nice?
It's quite nice.
It's, where is my glass? Oh.
So what we were talking about before with the XO, the difference between the XO and the original. The original is the spiced rum, and the XO is rum. It's not a spiced rum. Different. It's a slightly different category. And he was the fella from South Africa was talking about how it's being kind of embraced in the clubs. Was that how you're marketing it? Is that a function of marketing, or is that just organic?
It's completely organic. And to give you an example, and you guys know this is a saying in our industry, is you build it on premise, which is bars and restaurants, to sell it off premise, right? That's how brands get built. Belair, as an example, we're about to become the single largest premium sparkling in the United States. As a wine, because it's a wine, we're bigger than every other still wine brand in the country, whether it's Mondavi, Hess, Cloudy Bay, Stag's Leap, Duckhorn, Prisoner. We're bigger than all those brands. It's 98% retail. So we didn't expect that, but the independent retail loved us, and ABC stores in North Carolina loved us. If you look at Bumbu in North Carolina, I told you we're the #1 premium rum in the state. Bumbu in the US for us is our 4th largest market, 4th largest state in the US. Consumers loved it. They asked for it at the stores, at the ABC stores. They wanted the brand. So to me, where the brand, it's organic. In Belgium, Bumbu is 100% retail. In Czech Republic, and these are both huge markets for us, it's almost 100% on premise. It doesn't matter to me. Wherever brand goes, how it works it's fine. In South Africa, it's consumed in the clubs. Fine, great, it works that way. But for me, it doesn't matter. But on the two brands, to give you an idea, just some, can I talk about a little bit of education on the rum category?
Please.
So most people don't know, but the original rum island where rum originated is Barbados. It didn't come from Puerto Rico. It didn't come from Cuba. It's Barbados. And that's where we produce this brand, which is Bumbu Original. We wanted to produce it in Barbados. And the second reason why Barbados is such a great place for rum is the island doesn't need to filter water. The island actually acts as a natural aquifer. It filters water by itself. You don't need to do that. And then we brought our wine knowledge into the rum category. And this is where we always try to think differently. You know, grapes, Chardonnay grapes in Oregon are different than Chardonnay grapes in California. Cabernet in Oregon is different than Cabernet in Napa or Cabernet in Sonoma. And for us, sugarcane is the same thing. Sugarcane, depending on what every country, is going to taste different when you distill. So we ended up distilling from 8 different countries sugarcane and distilling it in Barbados. And that's where Original, this brand, is produced. It's aged 15 years in American bourbon barrels. And then when it came to the XO brand, the black bottle that's in front of you guys, again, we wanted a difference. And in Barbados, we couldn't get that. We couldn't get what we were looking for in terms of profile. We wanted something that was more, as I said, smoky, more like dark chocolatey forward. And we ended up finding we could get that kind of product in Panama, of all places. So XO is produced in Panama. It's up to 18 years aged, and it's finished. And this is where it's special, in Spanish cherry oak casks. But again, it's that I don't want to be beholden to. That's my whole goal, is I don't want to be beholden to anything. It's all about how can I make the product better, no matter where it comes from. If St. Lucia, I can get something out of St. Lucia that's different than any other thing I've ever done, great, let's try that. That's the way, to me, that's good brand building, because it's about the product. It's not about, it's from Cuba. It's about the product first and foremost. Sorry, guys.
No, no apologies necessary. I'd love hearing about the backstory and about what, like, your point of view is, but also it helps that we're drinking rum while you're talking.
But it's different, right? It's a different. This I can drink straight all day long. Actually, both of them I can. But they're different. They're different products. They're for different consumers, and you're going to have someone like me who I just like both. I like both.
Well, I mean, I like them both too, but they're very different. Like, would have different ideas of how to use them.
Correct.
I guess was how I was thinking about it. And I guess my question earlier about confusion with label identity is just the whole idea of, if Bumbu represented one thing and these two products are markedly different, but maybe it just shakes out the market. The lady in the Chicago grocery store seemed to understand which was her favorite, and our friend who's tuning in from South Africa clearly figured out which was his favorite, and our sous chef here at Alley 26 was quick to figure out what his favorite, and the rest of us were too. So maybe that's not really an issue.
But to me, it's a positive, because there's, like, I don't want it. I like when people have passion for something. They really like it or they really don't, that's a positive thing. Like, because they're all in then, like, they're committed to it. They found something that's really special to them. And I think that's great. So to me, the fact that you're going to have one liking one and one like the other is exactly the direction I wanted to go. It's exactly what I wanted. I want there to be, that's the problem with brands. Again, if you taste, for those consumers out there who try scotches and, I have a hard time discerning a difference between a brand's different 6 or 7 SKUs. It's impossible. I have a hard time with champagne. If you're trying different styles, whether it's Moet Nectar or Moet Rose, it's hard, but I want that difference. I want to be able to taste the difference if I'm going to compare the two.
Got it. And not subtle differences. You want, like,
Bold.
This is what I want here, and this is what I want over here.
Correct. Because what's the point? If they're close together, what's the point? Like,
Yeah,
it's not special. What's a mixology supposed to do with that? It tastes kind of the same. Like, if you're getting a heavy difference, you're going to try something different.
Yeah, like these two rums specifically, we would make vastly different drinks from them.
Correct.
Speaking of which, maybe we should make another drink.
Oh, I'll do that.
Luke, you want to tell us what we're doing?
yeah. So we're ready for this one. So we're going to do kind of a traditional flip. So we're 3 ingredients. We're going to use some of our pineapple demerara syrup, which is basically just demerara sugar, pineapple juice. And we're going to add a ½ ounce of that in.
I got mine.
You ready?
Excellent. Just, give it a little shake first. Make sure everything's integrated. It's real stuff, so,
Then we're gonna add a half ounce of heavy cream.
I got that. I pre-poured
Very
mine.
very glad your syrup came in today, Brett.
Thank you. I literally showed up at the door. It was perfect.
That's what I was hoping. All right, then we're gonna go 1.5 ounces of rum.
We're doing the XO, right?
We are. I like that a little bit more in this one because of the cream and everything that's going in it. I really like the higher ABV and thought that was going to come through a little bit more.
that and the syrups we're using are sweet.
Yeah. Put that right back up there. Brett, we're going to give this a nice little shake to start, and then we're going to be adding a whole egg to it.
Shake first.
Shake first.
Okay.
Shake. We're going to strain all that ice out of there.
We're going to shake and strain it right back into the mixing glass.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. All right, so we are going to take a strainer, get any of the ice chunks out.
Okay. And now?
All right, now we're going to add the whole egg.
Seriously, a whole egg, right?
The whole egg.
We're going to add the whole egg to the empty tin.
Yeah.
So just in case something goes horribly wrong, we could start again.
Okay.
So we have the drink in the glass, this mixing glass, and he's going to put whole eggs in the tins.
Okay.
Of course, we're calling this the Bumbu flip.
I like it.
And we're going to go back on the shakers. Make sure we have a good seal.
If anyone's afraid of their seal at home, just take a dish towel and put it around there because you really don't want this on you.
No.
Or just shake away like that. What do you got? Is that like a French? Is like a three-piece or a French one?
Yeah, yeah. It's a three-piece.
Ah, classic.
Who came up with this recipe?
I believe this is a
you?
Luc original.
Yeah, I mean, historically, this is about how you're going to go. I mean, you're going to use the 3 ingredients. Keep it simple, because we still want the rum to speak for itself.
And so a flip is basically started as a hot drink in England, and it was the predecessor to the eggnog, basically. They used to just stick a hot poker in the glass, like fresh out of the fire, and that the heat would make the egg froth, and that's somehow or flip is what they would say it.
How's
So
mine
that's
look?
how it got its. What was that?
How's mine look?
Hold on one second. We're pulling you up on the screen right now.
Looks good?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There, exactly what we're talking about. So there's a little foam there. It's not like a lot of times egg white drinks will have a lot of foam on them, but because there's the whole yolk and everything.
I'm sorry. I'm a
give you-
professional. I'm a professional drinker. I'm not waiting for you guys. I got to start.
That's
That's what I
okay.
know.
If you have any nutmeg, nutmeg's good too. It'll really drive home the relationship to nog.
Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
this is nice.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
has Emily shown you this? Have you guys tasted this yet?
We have not.
We've not
Come
gotten to
on.
Is that in North Carolina yet,
Come on.
So, we're
Emily?
we're working on it. We can get it special order. So we're
So this
working
is-
on that.
So
That little guy's drunk. He can't even stand up by himself.
Yeah, you can't stand. It's
So
fine.
this is our newest. And again, in North Carolina, it's a control state. So please, everybody, for new products, you got to ask your ABC stores, ask for it. These are
Right.
2 brands. This is Bumbu Crem, and it's a cream based. You're going to love this. It's amazing. It's a cream based product. Absolutely amazing. Drink it neat, mix it. Luke, you're going to love this.
Is that creme? Is that mixed with the XO or is that mixed with the original?
The
If
original.
you mix it with the original, it's like a cinnamon toast crunch shot.
It's amazing.
It's delicious.
But this is in 9 states right now. But again, with the control states, you got to ask for it. So we just announced this brand. So this is our newest. So South Africa, get ready for it. We're coming for you. And then this is the other new one for us. This is called Vion. I showed this earlier. This is which is competing in the cognac category. We launched it in 7 states. It's Vion. It's named after Francois Vion, and he was a badass. He was a 14th century poet who went against the rich and bad government and cops, and he ended up getting kicked out of Paris and wrote about everything, and he ended up getting killed. He was killed with a dagger by a monk.
Wow.
And he's our patriarch. His surname is Vion. This shit's the coolest. Luke, I promise you, you will never, again, when it comes to cognac, I can't taste the difference. They're all bad. This is the good one. This is.
Okay.
Well, I might disagree with you on they're all being bad, but
once
you haven't tried it yet. I mean,
you haven't tried it. You haven't.
I've tried ones that I thought were pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the neatest thing. It's a combination. Ready for this? It's a combination of XO and VSOP. Very unique. Very different.
Okay.
Very
nice.
different.
Well, I look forward to trying it.
So, are you sourcing that from? How does one come across it? Like, how do you get that?
For all our products, we work with families. So when we decide where we want to produce and what we want it to taste like and look like, we try to find a family producer just like ourselves that we can work with that has the quality of product, whether it's the grape or the distillation or the cane, and work with them. And in this case, they're from the 15th century family, producing cognac. We had a different idea of the way to look at what cognacs and looking at Grand Marnier and looking at products like that and trying something unique. And it tastes different. To me, it's like Christmas. That's how I always described it. It tastes like Christmas. But it's different. It's unique. It's going to bring a different audience into the category. That's what we'd like to do with all our brands, is try to bring them to a new audience. But we're going against the big guys. So again, another brand, everyone told us, how can you compete against the Hennessy's, the Remy's, the Cavassiers, the Martels? But the initial reaction has just been phenomenal, just phenomenal. So we're super excited about that. And then again, this is dangerous because you could just skip dinner and go straight to drinking.
or breakfast, apparently.
Exactly, or breakfast.
Outstanding. Let me think. I have a couple of questions over here.
I will ask Brett, like when you are releasing these new products, because one of the things you go back to is that you are competing against the bigger companies, the bigger names. When you are releasing it, how much, instead of focusing on like one certain place to go, you're kind of just going all over the globe? Like, is it like, how many places can I get in and then we work from there?
No, it's Luke, it's just the opposite. I go where we're wanted. You know, it's, again, I learn a lot from talking to people. And one of the things I learned from just talking to musicians, especially is, I remember having an interview with, he's a big artist named Russ, and he would go online because you could put music out today on SoundCloud as an example, and you can see who's listening to you. You can see where your fans are. You can see it. And he saw, oh my gosh, I have I have fans in the Middle East. So he starts going there. Or a Boogie with the Hoodie is another artist. He's got fans in Washington. So he goes there. So to me, that's what we've always done, or what we started getting good at. You go where it's working and where people want it. And that's how we've built our brand. So we're not in Czech Republic because we wanted to be in Czech Republic. Someone was asking for it and they wanted it. We want to give it to them. I want to give it to them.
Yeah.
North Carolina, and Emily, our state manager, was talking earlier. She'd be the first one to tell you, no one expected North Carolina to be, a big state in rum or premium rum. But we like, there's a mentality, especially with big companies, where they think I got to be in New York. Like that's where we're going to make success, or I got to be in Vegas. I got to be in LA. We don't think like that. We want to go where we're getting love and we can give it back, and we can give the consumer what they want. So if South Africa, they love Bumbu, let's feed them. Let's give them Bumbu because that's what they want. So it's the same. That's how we approach our brands. We're not going to force ourselves on anybody, and I don't want to. If anything, I get like a big retail chain, I'll get nervous because I want to succeed. I don't want it to be one and done. I want to make sure we're there. But Luc, does that answer your question?
It does. It does. Thank you.
Okay, I guess following up with that, how do you define that? Like, if before you got into North Carolina, you didn't know North Carolina was going to be so successful for you, and you said you're in 7 states, you're in 9 states, and one of them is North Carolina. We're kind of used to being, number 50, because we're legendarily, the state ABC here is legendarily a pain in the ass. So what made you decide to give us a try, like to really like dip your toe in the North Carolina water and just to see if it would work to begin with?
It's people you want to support. I have here. Can I share something? Is it possible?
Yeah.
So here, can you make me a host?
I think she's doing it right now, Brett.
So you'll find this funny, but I will share it. Does it work? There we go.
Believe
Can you see this?
digs you up.
So this lady here, she's in her 90s. Can you see her hat? It says Bumbu, it says Black Bottle Boys, it says Rosé, it says Lux. She's got shirts that say McQueen and Vion. This is our mother. She rollerblades, she's in her 90s, she's nuts. But she's, and I learned this term, bigs you up. Some people understand what that means. You got to find people who support you and who are in your corner and who are there for you. And this is my bigs me up. This is the person who's been there from day one, always a supporter. I couldn't say that about my father. I could say that about my mother. But it's the same thing where in North Carolina, there are people who did really, really well with Belair, who are great supporters of our brand. And we want to make sure they have our next brand because they were there for us first. Or when we come out with Crem, who were the first ones? Or Vion, who were the first ones? Or any of our brands. The way we look at developing things is I want to go where people were supporting us early. And that means a ton to me. And that's where it starts. Is find those people who are bigging you up.
Nice. Speaking of you said this is our mom. Did you mean that literally?
Yes.
That's your mother.
That's my mother.
Okay. So
that's my mother.
Is she the one that gave you the brand, Sovereign Brands, the name?
She did. We were looking for a name and she said, why don't you call it Sovereign? And I had no idea what the fuck that meant. And she ends up telling me that her parents started a company and they named it Sovereign. And I had to look it up, and sovereign means to be on your own. It means to be, your own island, your own entity, your own thing. And that's what we are. And it's been a great name. She's our beacon. But it's been a great name of that. I think everybody in our company and what we mean as a company, it resonates for us, to be on your own. But that's why I guess bring it full circle. That's why the whole self-made thing got started is this has been nothing but struggle and joy. And you can't have joy without recognizing the struggle side. And if I can give back in any way and share with people of how to get there in their own, whatever they do for a living, it doesn't have to be what I'm in. But that's the fun part of this is believing in yourself, believing in your brands, because no one else does. This brand, as I said, this brand is, going to be the #1 premium. We outsell every single champagne in the United States. And when I first introduced this in New York to our distributor, they said, "You're nuts. Why are you launching rosé first? You got to do a brut." And we didn't want to. We wanted to start with rosé. "Why are you putting it in a black bottle? No one can see the liquid. Don't do that. You can't compete with Moet and Veuve." They said we wouldn't sell 500 cases. We sold 10,000 the first year. We'll do 100,000 in New York this year alone. But 20 years ago, Brett Berish and my brother would have listened and changed everything. We would have changed the package. We would have changed the look. We would have launched Brut. But 6-7 years in, we learned, what? Screw them. We got to trust ourselves, and that's what this has been about. Just trust your instincts, and if you like it, hopefully other people like it too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cheers to mom.
Yeah,
that's right.
A little technical issue. Could you make Claire back the host?
Oh, I'm sorry.
But we have one more thing to open here, if you wouldn't mind reaching back to that. But before I love that idea of not basically not listening to everybody tell you can't do it. I think that really speaks to entrepreneurs in any field. Now, you keep talking about this Belair Rosé, and well, we have a bottle of it, so we might as well go ahead and see what it's all about.
Love that.
So for dramatics.
No, we're not going to savor it for dramatics.
So this is, we have 4 cuvées. We've got the black bottle, which is our original, which is we call Belair Rosé. And then we've got Belair Luxe Rosé, which is this pink bottle. So think of it as one's drier and one's sweeter. This would be considered a demi-sec. Falls into the demi-sec category, which is sweeter. So 2 different styles. So again, it gets back to that idea that I want a discernible difference. I want people are going to one consumer is going to fade to one and the other consumer is going to fade to the next one. And then we have 2 whites, which is this one, which is our gold, which is our brut. And this is dry. And then this would fall into, again, the demi-sec category. And this is called our luxe. So it's a little bit sweeter. So we have 4 different styles, 4 different cuvées. All of them do amazingly well. All of them are very unique and different.
It's definitely got a lot of color. It's really vibrant.
I'm glad you picked up on that. So one of the things, and again, this is us, one of the things, if you ever notice, rosé is never really rosé. It's almost salmon color. And we wanted a more rosé, a more reddish color. And we got that through macerization, more just beating the crap out of the grapes. And it's a discernible difference. It's a discernible color. That's what we wanted. But those little things to me mean a lot, because to me, that's part of the essence of the brand. All our brands have something, everything's very thoughtful in the process. There's a story behind everything.
Nice.
So both these rosés, the rosé you're tasting is from Provence. Provence is the French Riviera, the Côte d'Azur, Monaco, Saint-Tropez, It's the most beautiful. It's the most beautiful place in the world. And to us, to give you an example, I think, and I'm sure you'll agree, the best still rosé in the world should come from Provence. So our thought was the best sparkling in the world should also come from Provence. So we're the single largest producer of sparkling rosé from Provence now, Belair.
Looks delicious.
So, but you have the two rosés.
And go ahead.
But so if the rosé should come from Provence, where should the brut come from?
So like everything we do, it's this best of the best mentality. So to us, the best grapes in France are Chardonnay from Burgundy. That's the best grapes. There's nothing better. So both of our whites, the Gold and the Luxe, are produced in Burgundy. Both produced in Burgundy.
They're Cremant de Bourgogne, or?
Yeah. So again, the beauty is just like Bumbu, you've got Panama and Barbados. I couldn't get the same white from Provence. It didn't taste as good. So we wanted it from Burgundy. We wanted it from something different. But that's who we are as kind of a company. It's you picked up on, sorry, I'm digressing to a different brand, but you picked up on Bumbu being 70 proof, right? And yeah. Bumbu XO is 80 proof. You know, most brand, a lot of rums are 80 proof. It just didn't taste as good at 80 proof. So our view is, why does everything have to, we don't need to follow everybody else. We can do, right. You know, it's again, it gets back to what tastes the best. If it tasted better at 80, we would have done that, but we think it tastes better at 70. It's a better product at this proof. We think Bumbu XO is better at 80 proof. Let's run it at 80.
Did you have another question?
No, that's all you.
Okay. Is there, I guess we kind of had a lot to talk about at the beginning, and I don't want to give short shrift to McQueen and the Violet Fog, because we've really been chatting a lot about Bumbu, which I think has more traction here in North Carolina. But can you which did you release first, the Bumbu or the original Bumbu, or the McQueen and the Violet Fog?
McQueen and the Violet Fog is only a little over a year old. This is our youngest brand. Yeah, so it's a little over a year old. It's doing great. All our brands have, if you like ratings, I think Bumbu has more gold medals than any other new rum ever. McQueen got the highest rating for a gin from Wine Enthusiasts, got a 93, or I think a 93. We beat Hendrix, which we're super proud about. It's doing great. I think it tastes better than all the other gins. Clearly, our process is different. As I noted, our botanicals are different. We see people doing shots with it. I never thought of doing a gin shot, but it's fantastic.
I hadn't either, but I saw that T-shirt you had.
Yeah, I actually have a hat too. Well, smoke some pot or take a shot. How's that? Did you have that? Did you have that slogan before or after you had the endorsement? Oh, so Wiz Khalifa is. If for those of you who know Wiz in the music space, there's no one who's more of an aficionado of two products: one, pot, and two, gin. So, but again, same thing. You know, Wiz found us. Wiz is a huge fan of gin. Again, with all the people who support, if a brand doesn't taste good, forget it. They're never going to come. They're never going to try it. But when a product tastes great, they will find you. They will look for you. And Wiz has been an unbelievable supporter, another brand ambassador for us on the gin. Couldn't ask for a better name. But he lives this space. He's all about our industry, supporting accounts, supporting retailers. And Wiz actually came up. He started having during COVID Sunday parties at his house where he'd go on Instagram and do stories. And he started this thing called Smoke Some Pot or Take a Shot, where he'd go live with somebody and they either had to smoke some pot or take a shot of McQueen. And we loved it. And again, that's the beauty of what I love about what we do, at least at our company, is It's not our idea, but it's a great freaking idea. And we took ownership and said, let's run with this. And so we started making some materials and giving it to our brand ambassadors and friends. But it works. We like it. Well, we're not afraid of anything.
So you started, it seems like you started in the wine space. With the Ace of Spades was a huge hit. We didn't really talk about that much, but it, I think I heard you say selling off your share of that kind of helped finance the rest of these other things.
Correct.
Okay, just, yeah, I don't want to take your words out of your mouth there. So you have now gin and rum and cognac. What's the next?
A whole bunch. We probably have 4 or 5 brands. It's and we'll do more in wine. Everything for us starts with literally drinking. If you guys were in our Chicago office or New York office, I'd have you in and say, try this shit. Look what we just came up with. What do you think? That's how it starts. I was never a gin drinker. I'm a huge gin drinker now. It just starts with, someone asked me, you know, what do you pair things with? I'm not a pairer. I kind of fall into I just start consuming one brand and just kind of stick to it for a while. And then I move on to something else eventually. And that's what happens. So I've gotten the bug in the Scotch space recently. I'm a huge fan. I love, for those of you who know what peated Scotch is, love peated Scotch. It tastes like a freaking old shoe. I love it. But you know, that's what happens. We kind of go with what it takes us, the direction. If we don't consume it, I can't do it. If it's not something that's core to who we are, I can't do it. But probably 4 or 5 brands, maybe one a year for the next 4 or 5 years. So very excited. We're at 21 years and it still feels like we just started.
Well, I mean, if these brands are a year old, you really did just start.
Correct. Yeah. Well,
having lots of babies.
Yeah, exactly. They're all kids. We're on our, is this 5? Belair, Bumbu, McQueen, and Vion. So we have 4. 4 are the ones we focus on right now. We'll have a new one come next year and keep going from there.
Outstanding. I guess I don't want to keep you on all night, but we're having a great conversation. So I just at least one more question. The Self-Made series specifically, which is your webcast, which I ended up going down the rabbit hole on. Thank you. Can you tell me what the idea behind that was?
I'm happy you asked. It started when social media started becoming more and more important in the concept of, we have a lot of followers on social media, which is awesome. I think Belair is 400,000 plus, Bumbu has a couple 100,000. We have more than Captain Morgan and Bacardi, and those are just huge brands. And what it showed us was people are holding our bottles, and it's not that they're just consuming our bottles. Our bottles mean something to people. It resonates. It's achieving something. It's having some type of success. And it started us questioning, well, what does it mean to us? And it means the same thing. Like, we've done it. Like, we've made something and we're proud of it and we want to show it off. And it started, our first interview was with Post Malone, actually. And this was before Post, he hadn't even broke big yet. He was just on the cusp. And it started out, and I like to tell people, I'm not interviewing these people because they know who I am. I get to interview these people because they know these brands. They're part of culture. They're part of the next generation. They're part of something that has meaning. And I'm fortunate that I'm the beneficiary, that I get to talk to these people because of the brands. And again, it gets back to that idea that I wanted to hear. That's what motivates me. I want to hear the shitty side of success. You know, for Post Malone, you know, telling me about, from the first interview, telling me, you know, everyone, he'd go to school, high school, and wearing his father's suits. He'd be and he'd wear a suit to school. He was just different people would just make fun of him. They'd make fun of him because he's wearing his dad's suit, but that's just who he was. And, you know, that sucks. And that I like hearing that. Or the guy interviewed yesterday, Harry Song from Nigeria. God, the passion in his voice about what he does for a living and how he just loves music. Like that's, and you know, and he lost his parents early, and his grandma would give him money to go to the studio to record, and she believed in him. That's the shit I like hearing, because it's that's the stuff that drives me every day. I need that stuff to, and I think it's a good thing to be transparent and tell my own kind of stories. My own, I tell a story how I put the IRS swept my bank account because I stopped paying taxes. So I had to put my paychecks in my girlfriend's name, who's now my wife, because I figured they wouldn't find her. You know, shit, it got me here. It worked. It worked. I'm caught up now. I'm caught up in my taxes.
I bet.
But that's the fun, or making deposits. I remember going to the Chase bank in Soho in New York, and the teller would never look up at me. Every week the checks would get a little bit bigger, from sales for the company. She'd never freaking look up. And then it was like, it was a huge number at the time, huge. She finally freaking looked up, and I was just so happy, like she noticed, like
an audience of one.
Exactly. So those are drivers. I think everyone, if you can find inspiration in that stuff, that's what self-made is. It's finding inspiration.
Nice. I really enjoyed that webcast. It seems like you got a lot out of the people you were interviewing. You interviewed Lil Wayne, and his definition of self-made seems spot on. You interviewed Wiz Khalifa, and his definition of self-made seemed spot on, but there were very different definitions. But all of these people that make a name for themselves or achieve success in some way all have to figure out how to take responsibility for themselves, which is what they were both basically saying.
But it's also,
you do nothing alone.
Correct. But it's also, I interviewed, oh my gosh, from Fast and Furious. Oh my gosh. Who did I interview?
Paul Walker?
No.
Vin Diesel?
No. Emil, help me. I'm getting old.
Ludacris?
No. Oh God, he's gonna kill me.
I don't know Fast and Furious. I don't know.
Oh, is Tyson Bedford or yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
Tyrese.
Tyrese. Thank you. Tyrese Gibson.
Oh.
South Africa with the win.
Thank you. I interviewed Tyrese, and Tyrese, I asked him, would you change anything? 99%, everybody I ever talked to says, no, I wouldn't change a thing. Tyrese is like, fuck yeah, I change everything. I wish I had someone telling me, all the things I screwed up on and I should have changed. Like, that's the stuff I want to, I think he's right. In some ways, that's a great answer. Yeah. In some ways that is inspiring. You wish in some cases things were different, or you'd make that different decision. He didn't have, and I think that's great. He didn't have anybody who was supporting him. He had nobody, and that sucks. But I like hearing the different stories, because it does make you, there's never ever one answer. There's lots of answers.
Yeah, I think that series really points that out. And one thing that Lil Wayne was quick to point out was that, like, you don't do anything by yourself. And actually, all of the folks end up taking the moment to point that out. Like, the idea of being self-made isn't I did everything myself, because nobody got anywhere by themselves completely.
Help at some point.
You have to ask for help, accept help, learn how to lead. But even if you do that, you're not doing it by yourself.
Correct.
And I thought it was interesting to hear all those people's ideas of how to do that. We want to thank, speaking of doing this all by ourselves, I appreciate you being on the call this long. We certainly want to thank the folks that tune in pretty much all the time. Patty and Curtis are on the thing, showing off their cat, I see. Thank you. We're just really, Luke and I have been really enjoying this series and being able to chat with people like you. And a lot of the reason we're able to do it is because of people like Claire here, who you don't see, you know, and Jeff here with RNDC, who's your distributor here, who kind of facilitated getting this going on. And Emily, of course, on your side, we saw her with the drunk small person earlier. And all those other people that people don't see on both of our teams really helped put this together. So I'd like to take a second to thank them as well. Yeah. Oh, we have a hand raised. I think it's time for a question. And who is this?
Alexa, turn on Energize.
Who's this person?
Hello, this is Alex.
Alex.
I used to work with Emily at Red Bull quite some time ago. Love the. She got me hooked on it. Just have a quick question. When are you coming out with the vodka? I'm a vodka drinker, and that's the one unit that I think you're missing.
We got something cooking. How's that? We got something cooking. If you ask my brother, it's his favorite thing in the world to be doing right now. But I promise you, it'll be different. I promise.
Until then, I'll drink the champagne all day long.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I wholeheartally agree. There, you know, between the R&DCs and Emily and the ABC stores and accounts like Alley 26, you know, this is we're in a unique space where this industry, I can't sell direct to anybody. We're in this 3-tier system. We need each other and we support each other, and that's the fun part of this. And you're 100% right. You can't do this stuff alone. So everything's got to work in tandem, and it's working. And we appreciate all the love. And for those of you who haven't tried our brands, please do. Please, if they're not at your ABC stores, ask. If they're not in the accounts, ask. And that's how brands get built. That's how the little brands get built.
Outstanding. Well, speaking of showing the love, we have some giveaways. So we're going to ask some questions, or maybe you'd like to throw out a question for folks, and whoever puts the rules generally, or whoever types it in the chat the fastest wins.
And I think we're going for three. Emily has a grand prize, and then we have like a second and third place prize that are going to be similar.
So we'll go with a couple first. Emily or Brett, do you want to ask a question as the grand prize?
Emily, you ask.
I mean, no pressure over here.
Come on.
No pressure, Emily. No pressure. So,
Emily, may I ask, did you try the flip drink?
I didn't hear that, sorry.
Did you try the flip, and how did you like it?
I liked it.
Okay.
You know, I just can't wait to drink in your establishment finally. Or out there again. Were you saying ask Brett a question?
No, ask any of the viewers a question. If they get it right, then they'll win one of the packages.
Oh, okay. All right, I got one.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on to that. We'll go with you last because you have the grand prize.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
And you can tell them what you were offering to send them. So we'll let you bat cleanup with that.
Okay.
Okay. So question 1, and the rules again: type your name into, type the correct answer into the chat first, and you win. So the first question is: where were Brett's grandparents? Where was their distributorship? What state was their distributorship in?
Good question. Can I answer?
I hope not.
I don't have that shirt. I want that shirt.
Well, I'll trade it for the smoke pot, take a shot shirt.
Luke, I'll hook you up.
Patty and Curtis already answered. That's amazing. It's amazing. Brett, we'll get you a shirt. Don't you worry.
All right.
Oh, the correct. Brett, would you like to give the correct answer?
Correct answer is Madison, Wisconsin.
Well done to Patty and Curtis.
Outstanding. Well done to Patty and Curtis.
Way to go.
Outstanding. So, you want to go with one?
Oh, I thought we were going to have Brett ask the next one and then
Oh.
finish with Emily.
Brett, do you have one?
Okay, where's Bumbu Original produced?
Oh, I know.
Where's Bumbu Original produced? We get an answer?
Oh, yeah, we got lots of answers. Barbados is the first one by Jack Starty.
Jack?
Hey, Brett, that's your on-premise team, just so you know. They know their brand.
I like that. Thank you, RDC.
Their boss is also sitting right over here, so she might be on maternity, but we never go away.
Can the grand prize question be, how many kids do I have?
Oh, that
Oh,
I win. Okay, hey, but before we do that, can we get some folks to show your face on the socials and show your bottle? If you'll show your bottle, we'd love to get a screenshot of all these bottles.
I'm looking. Ooh, somebody's got Vion. I like it.
Let's get some bottles on those screens.
Thank you.
I've got our other baby, the Cloud Chaser.
There you go.
Got a lot of love out there for you, Brett.
Thank
And
you.
Emily.
I'll sleep good tonight.
Wait, where are the 6 kids while you're sleeping?
Oh, she's giving the answers away.
Well,
Oh no, I had a different question, but yeah. Oh, sorry, I just.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, raising the bottle, showing some love. Last but not least, Emily, can we pitch it to you for the grand prize? First, tell them what you're gonna send them.
Sure, we have like a little bar kit, so it'll have a Bumbu galvanized bucket along with some glasses, a pour spout, and a Bumbu mask, so you can be wearing it in the grocery store like Brett.
our masks are awesome.
The masks
Awesome.
are amazing.
I've been wearing them.
They're awesome. They got little, you can fix them by size. They got, they're beaded on the inside. They look cool as hell.
I'll say for a branded mask, you are killing everybody else.
Oh God, yes. And the Vion
Yeah.
ones are the coolest. I haven't even gotten mine, but they got the snake and the sword on it. They're awesome.
So I had a different question. So I know who I would go to, if I need to be bailed out of jail, but do you all know who Brett has famously bailed out of jail?
Oh, come on. I know the answers.
That's a good one. I like that, Emily.
Does it come with a story?
I mean, that might be for another day. I mean,
Do they get extra points for if they know the city?
oh, how about city and person? But I guess they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Did anybody answer?
Can I say
Then-
Miami?
We did. It was Jack's again. He won last time.
Jax, come on. You can't win every time. Sorry.
I thought I saw it in the chat. I thought I saw it. Or maybe that was Jack's.
I'm so sorry that I know my brand that well.
I love
Love it. That's
I
Brett,
love
okay.
this feels like a
Thank you
resort.
so much for letting me work with you guys every day.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Maybe we'll throw in some extra
So,
syrup.
hold on.
So-
Did we announce the answer? Did we announce
No.
the answer?
No,
So
you tell.
can we hear the story?
So the answer is Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. Wait, what was the question?
No, well, that's a different one. Who have you bailed out of jail? Well, I guess maybe it's two.
Bailed out of jail. I've never done that.
I thought you went to, maybe you went to visit him in jail. Okay,
Oh.
sorry.
Well, yes, I have visited many a supporter trying to help them who've been supporters of us. And I highly recommend, in bad times, you gotta show love. And so that's happened a few times. Forgive me. I thought the question was, who did I help pardon?
Okay, so I didn't know if we were talking about that, so I didn't go there. But now that you said it.
Yeah, so it happens to be Lil Wayne. So I'm glad to help him. I was glad to be there for him. and glad to be a reference for him. Again, be there for people who are there for you. That's the key to life.
Love that.
Outstanding. Read the board.
Oh, send us your emails if you did win. Send it in the chat and we will share it with Emily. We will send things out to you. And we do have some extra masks, I think, for giveaways if you stop by.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate this. A lot of love for North Carolina, for Durham. Everyone get your shot if you can. And
Oh yeah.
I look forward to visiting you guys myself and having a drink and eating at your place.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us today, Brett.
Brett, I got family in Chicago. I'm going to be at that office drinking the new stuff. I'm really excited about it.
Come by. This is how we build brands. Share with us.
That sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, RNDC. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Geoff and Emily.
Thank
We'll see you next Tuesday, everybody else.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Brett. Good one.